Hi everyone, Scribbler Johnny checking in really quick before we begin. Based on conversations I have had with alpha readers, I want to just sort of get ahead of some things that are featured in Princess of Crows. This is a parody of the magical girlfriend harem genre. Um, Most of the time you see it in anime, but it's been uh, gaining quite a bit of popularity in Western novels as well. And when I first wrote this story back in 2018, um, it was still not as prevalent as it has become. So, because it is a parody of the genre, the tropes of the genre are portrayed. There are certain stereotypical characters that appear, and this is done to poke fun at the stereotype and at the genre. Now, to parody a harem story, I have to tell a harem story. So, just want to get that out there. This is a parody. We are supposed to laugh and to enjoy this story. That said, it is not a pure comedy. This story, like all of mine, deals with some fairly heavy subject matter. Um, Questions of consent come up, questions of imbalanced power dynamics and unhealthy relationships in general are expected. This story is meant to highlight such things, and I want to encourage conversations on the subject. So please understand that I am an ally to women, to people of all sexual orientations. This is a story that um, is a bit difficult. The character of Kurama, especially, is a difficult character, and her arc and her growth and development as a person is one of the important and valuable aspects to the story. And when I first wrote it, I was very in my own mind, and I was criticizing the story and myself very harshly. And it got to the point where there's a part midway where I gave up and I wrote what I call an ejector seat ending to just get out of it. I was so upset with what the story was that I wanted to escape from it. And then months went by, and I kept thinking about the characters, and especially thinking that they deserved better and that the story warranted a better ending. So I re examined myself, re examined what I was doing, and I picked it back up and wrote the correct ending. And then I ended up writing two more novels, and I have a fourth um, that is still unfinished. And I just wanted to let you know that if there are things in this story that upset you, I get it. And it was done thoughtfully, and it was done with compassion in mind, because we can more easily see unhealthy relationship dynamics when we're not in the unhealthy relationship. That's something that comes with experience, and it's usually hard earned. So, without further ado, I will now begin Princess of Crows, written by me, Scribbler Johnny, 2018. My goodness. He sat, unnoticed, on the bench, his cane resting against his thigh. The wind stirred his brown beard and ponytail. His camouflage coat kept out the cold. The field jacket was a faithful friend, with him since basic. Mike watched the crows dance with their princess, silent, still, unnoticed by all. This was the third time he'd seen her. Before, he'd been dozing, uncertain if she was a dream, but this time he was wide awake, and there was no mistaking the Princess of Crows. Clothed in a short skirt made of black feathers and a double-breasted waistcoat of the same glossy plumage, she wore a garland in her short raven-colored hair. It was made of some twisted black wood and adorned with red berries and more black feathers. Her face was a paper-white mask of hard lines and sharp angles. Her nose was a jutting beak of a thing, and her chin looked sharp enough to cut. She was thin, angular, skin and bones. She danced like a fairy, free, wild, and full of the joy of the act. Mike was enchanted. He could barely blink. She spread her arms and whirled. He saw her wings for the first time, extended to their full majestic reach. Then she was gone. A breeze blew leaves and dust into his face. He wiped his eyes and spat. When his vision cleared after tearing up to clear the grit away, he saw two black feathers, too large for any bird he'd seen, even an albatross he guessed, resting right in his lap. He plucked them up eagerly. The fairy princess had left him gifts. A crow croaked at him near his polished black boots. "Hello, my friend," Mike said, and he tore his burger in half. He set it down a short distance from his feet. "Share and enjoy." The crow croaked again. He saw that one of its wings was bent at a bad angle. He wished he could help it, but birds were fragile things, and he had no idea how to help anyway. Mike hoped the food would help. The crow pecked and gulped, but carried a chunk of meat away, hopping a bit frantically. And soon the pigeons arrived to finish off the rest. Mike ate what remained of his burger and his fries in silence, unseen. He wiped the grease off his hands onto a paper napkin and went to throw his trash into the nearby trash can. Both it and the ashtray on top were overflowing. He cursed and carried his paper bag as he limped away. He had tucked the feathers into the breast pocket of his field jacket, right underneath the name tape with the U.S. Army embroidery. The other pocket was underneath his embroidered name, Jackson. Mike eventually found a trash can that was able to receive his garbage and took the bus home. He'd had to wave the bus down. He unlocked the door to his hovel and shut it behind him, locking and sliding the deadbolt into place before he took a single step further. He still couldn't bring himself to empty Mr. Bojangles' food bowl. That cat had been the last living thing to give a damn about him. Mike had buried Mr. Bojangles on the first day that he had seen her. Mike had been crying for the loss of his final friend that day. There was nothing holding him to this city anymore. He could go anywhere, if there was anywhere worth going. Even if he went to New Zealand, he would still be a loser, and no one would see him, and he would still die alone. Mike didn't know when he'd first become aware of his invisibility. It must have been a gradual thing. And it was a hell of a thing, realizing no one acknowledged your existence until you forced the issue. He wasn't a human being anymore, just a vague humanoid blur in the periphery. And maybe that was why he could see the Princess of Crows. She wasn't of this world, and now, for whatever reason, neither was he. Mike touched his dog tags and leaned his cane in the corner. He finally forced himself to empty the cat's food dish. He rinsed it clean. He set it to dry on the plastic dish rack beside the sink and started up a pot of water to boil. He poured in some dried beans with chorizo-flavored soy chunks into the water, as well as some instant ramen and the flavor packet, without bothering to look what flavor it was. That half of a burger and a small order of fries just hadn't cut it. While his electric stove did its thing, Mike took the feathers out of his pocket. Does this mean something, Princess? Is it a sign? Or is it just that I was in the way as they blew in the wind? He asked aloud. He sat down on his unfolded futon bed, bought under the delusion that he could turn it into a couch for when he had company. It never left bed configuration except when he was cleaning, which, be honest, was rare. His one-bedroom apartment was covered in cheap decorations, posters, resin sculptures, a clay incense burner in the shape of a toadstool with a fairy sitting atop it. He chose this time to insert a stick and light it with a cheap disposable lighter. Lavender-scented smoke drifted upward. He took the careful look at the feathers and then rested them underneath that toadstool, but away from the ash basin. His whole childhood had been filled with paperback fantasies and all the trappings to make his bedroom into an ersatz fairyland. He'd enlisted because he'd wanted to be a hero, not to get medals and be impressive, but to save people, overthrow tyrants, spread freedom, all that. He didn't do anything but lug around a man pack with an antenna sticking out of it for 4 years. He'd injured his knee while running with his squad one morning. Still, it was in the line of duty, so he got an honorable discharge. Don't bother trying to re-enlist. Sorry about your knee. Thank you for your service. A few minutes later, he was slurping down his soup. Tomorrow he would return to the park, and he would bring a gift. He would talk to her and everything. Maybe she'd agree to take him away if he made a bargain with her. He shined his boots. He rubbed his dog tags with a handkerchief until they were slightly shinier. And he looked through his knickknacks and curios. He settled on a sterling silver raven skull ring from his goth phase. He buffed it too. and he put the feathers into a resealable bag that had just enough room to hold them at a diagonal without breaking them. He slept restlessly, but that was nothing new. Mr. Insomnia was also a faithful friend. The next morning, Mike showered, brushed his teeth, everything. He drank an instant breakfast mix and took his vitamins. He brushed his hair and his beard. He made some microwave popcorn, and he smiled at the bow tie wearing man on the box. He carried the popcorn, the cat dish, and his gift in a plastic shopping bag and rode the bus to the park. He walked to where the crows had gathered before, and he poured popcorn into both bowls of the cat dish. He pulled his dog tags out from under his brown t-shirt and backed away, leaning on his cane. He walked backward until he hit the bench and sat, hard. He grimaced briefly. He pulled the bag of the feathers carefully from his pocket, where they had been poking out like a handkerchief in a formal suit jacket. Was it called a pocket square? They were rarely shaped like a square, but anyway, Mike brushed his hair out of his eyes and waited. The crows came, croaking and calling, hopping and pecking. His friend with the broken wing hopped over, demanding a share. Mike poured the rest of the popcorn onto the ground and looked for her. "Put in a good word for me with the princess, hey, friend?" he asked. There was the sound of fluttering feathers. "Put in a good word, why, human?" a low, raspy voice asked. Mike jumped. There she was, sitting at the other end of the concrete and wood bench. Her yellow eyes appraised him. For a human voice to be that hoarse, they'd have to be a regular smoker for maybe 20 years. Mike looked at the Princess of Crows. "I'll ask for a favor later, or a bargain, maybe. But for right now, Princess, I only offer this gift, and I ask for your friendship." Her eyes locked on his dog tags. She flicked a finger out and swiped them, making them clink against each other. Her face jerked up at him and she asked, "What gift did you bring, human?" Mike took the ring out of his pocket. "It's a raven skull made out of silver. Please accept it," he said, holding it forward in his palm. The princess snatched it, holding it near her eye, turning it and tilting her head. "Not raven," she snapped, as if he had missed the obvious. "This is a rook." She'd said it so that it rhymed with root. "I'm sorry," he replied. "You're only human." "I accept your gift," she said, and then she squeezed the ring until it was small enough to fit onto her twig-like middle finger. "My name is Kurama. I am the Princess of Crows in Tengu. Do you understand?" she asked. "Only a small bit," Mike admitted, showing a small space between his thumb and forefinger, and then he introduced himself. "Mike Jackson. You are a between man, a drifter. You see me, but you fade from the sight of other humans. I may have use for your friendship. You are kind to my subjects, and I like your gift, though you are ignorant." He frowned, but nodded. "I am not insulting or patronizing you, Mike Jackson," she added. She looked at him sideways, her yellow eye moving to see him from other angles. "I am speaking truth, just as you spoke truth to me. Let us be friends." Mike nodded, suddenly very happy. "I'm happy to be your friend, Kurama. Please, call me Mike." She stood up. "Dance with me, Mike," she ordered. I don't dance well. I'm injured. I have no patience for excuses. Stop being a worm and make it work. Dance with me. Mike stood then. Kurama took him by the hand and pulled him to where she had danced the other times. She faced him and placed his hand on her hip. She took his other hand and began to hum a tune. The crows sang. Well, they made crow noises to the tune, anyway. And he led her in a basic box step and felt his pulse race as she pressed close to him and then began to dance a reel with him. She then turned it into a tango, and Mike realized he felt no pain. His old combat boots made for poor dancing shoes, to say the least, but he kept up. And he didn't dance badly, he admitted to himself. Her dancing and her feathers were the only beautiful things about her, but Mike was enchanted. She was the only woman to touch him apart from VA nurses in a long time, and he adored her. When she allowed him to stop dancing, he was breathing heavily. Poor diet and little exercise had done him no favors. You are in poor health, Mike. We can fix that, but it will require a bargain and obligations, Kurama said. Her hoarse voice was businesslike. Mike nodded. We can't keep meeting in this park. He shook his head. Have you got your wind? She asked. Yes, thank you, he replied. She batted at his dog tags again. Tomorrow, bring me some peanut butter, the kind with the peanuts in it. And I will make it so all of your food makes you healthy and strong. This I promise on my good name. This is void if you betray me or deny me peanut butter. She stepped back and held out her hands, palms up. He noticed then she was wearing fingerless black lace gloves. He took her hands. I agree, he promised. She pulled him to her and stood on tiptoe to kiss him, still holding his hands. Kiss me, Mike. We are bonded. He did. She pouted. Not like that. Like this, wild as the wind. She took his face into her hands and kissed him with a hot, fierce passion. It felt possessive, too. He returned Kurama's kiss. She rested on her heels, satisfied. Much better, Mike. We have a bond and a bargain. Remember, peanut butter that has the nuts in. She held up a finger in warning, her yellow eyes flashing. No excuses. She was gone. Mike had lost his breath again. Crunchy peanut butter. Must get crunchy peanut butter. He walked to retrieve his cane, and slowly the pain caught up to him. He'd have to ask about the knee. TV wasn't going to do anything to entertain him that day, just provide something to distract him. He watched reruns of old game shows. And later, he took the bus to the grocery store and bought 4 jars of crunchy peanut butter and some rye whiskey to celebrate. At home again, he took some pain relievers and made more soup. He watched reruns of old sitcoms. Where could he meet Kurama if not at the park? Should he start dressing up? Did their bond mean something more than he was thinking? Was the kiss to seal the bargain, or was it something more? He thought of drinking the whiskey, but then he thought it would be nice to open it with Kurama. She was his only friend now, his Best and only friend, Pris. So he lifted his empty hand in a toast. To Kurama, my best and only friend. He slurped down his soup and rinsed the bowl and fork. He'd forgotten Bojangles' food dish. Damn. There went his last piece of Mr. Bojangles. He cried like a baby. He'd loved that cat. He wiped away his tears and blew his nose into his handkerchief. His brown army handkerchief. He rinsed it out immediately in the kitchen sink. Wringing it out, he remembered waving it around to play with his cat. He sobbed again, but he did not cry this time. 12 years was old for a cat. He'd had a good run. Mike spread the hanky out on the arm headboard of his futon, and he hummed to himself, realizing he'd been humming the song Kurama had hummed. And then, as he hummed it without crow accompaniment, he realized it was Kiss the Girl from The Little Mermaid. And he realized he loved that song. Had she known? Had she read his mind? Was it all an odd coincidence? He didn't really believe in coincidences. Fairies could be dangerous and were always unpredictable. Immortals could plan and plot like the pros. Mike had to struggle with one day at a time. He was just going to have to trust Kurama. If he regretted it later, so what? His life was meaningless. And with that cheerful thought, he fell asleep. Mike woke late. He had dreamed of 3 big geese honking and chasing him, and a fairy sitting atop a purple thistle flower pointing and laughing at him. Mike dressed in clean clothes, blue jeans, black t-shirt, his combat boots, even though the soles had worn smooth. He wanted to do something with the feathers, but he had no crafting skill. He picked up his black cowboy hat and tucked one of the feathers into the brim. The other he kept in the bag and resealed it, left it by the incense burner. An insistent tapping at his door made him jump. Normally his apartment was very quiet there in the basement. He opened the door and saw a little crow goblin thing dressed like an ancient Japanese painting, and it was perched on the banister by his stairs. "You slept late, human. Invite me inside," the goblin said in a caw. Mike stepped back. "Please come in," he said. The crow goblin flapped in and perched on his coffee table, muttering. Mike shut the door. "You can guess why I'm here," croaked the robed creature. "Kurama sent you," Mike said, nodding. It nodded, or bobbed its head. "My name is Susa. I'm a facilitator. I make things work, yes?" Mike nodded. "Hello, Susa. Mike Jackson." "You're not Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson died in Afghanistan 2 years ago. You're too handsome to be Mike Jackson anyway. You're Mike Marshall." "Got it?" Sousa all but shouted at him. "Whatever you say, but my ID says," Mike began. "Take a closer look, please." Sure enough, Mike Marshall. And he had a limo driver's license in his wallet as well, and a thick wad of cash. "All right, Sousa, I'm beginning to understand some things." Sousa croaked what might have been a laugh. "She told me you weren't a no-hoper." Listen up, Mr. Marshall. You need to kiss your old view of the world bye-bye. Mike nodded, expecting this. I'm a Tengu. Know what that means? Mike shook his head. Well, good. Most of the stories are full of slander, just meant to scare dumb humans into being careful in the mountains. Tengu are of the world of magic and gods, yokai and kami. I saw your face go blank. Relax. Susa resumed his pacing, his talons clicking on the tabletop. You are now sort of a dual citizen in the realm you knew and mine. With me so far? Mike nodded. All right. Ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Mike indicated a little. Good. Too much would have been detrimental. Humans try to force rules they already know onto things, and then they fight against learning the real rules. Sit down, Mike, Susa continued. Kami are small gods. Genius loci, to use another word. Yokai are the 1,000 things that are between humans and gods. Not fairies, not oni, not demons. Yokai, yes? Mike nodded. Tengu are very magical and not to be trifled with. Yoda told Luke not to judge him by his size. Learn that lesson. Now, Her Majesty likes you. You will be her friend. But that means you both are going to impose on each other. Favors, gifts. You'll be doing her a solid by acting as her driver. Susa bobbed his head. You will be expected to be ignorant, rude, and barbaric. I'm sure you'll easily live up to those expectations. Relax. You're a Westerner. You're human. It's understood. Actually showing manners will throw her enemies off balance. Somehow not everyone loves the Princess of Crows. You're weird. Weird for a human, I mean. Susa paused his pacing to study Mike. You love her, don't you? I think I do, Mike said. You poor bastard, Susa remarked, shaking his crow head. You're doomed. What's that mean, Susa? Is she one who eats her lovers? Mike asked. Susa croaked a laugh. A swift death would be preferable, maybe. No, she will not eat you. Love is deadly, human, even among your people. Did you learn nothing from Tristan and Isolde, Pyramus and Thisbe, Fusei and Daisuke? Mike shook his head. Read a better class of book, Marshal. Susa hopped over to Mike's bed. Your wardrobe is atrocious. Luckily, some glamour will fix that. Susa clapped his hands and pointed at Mike's closet. Dress to impress, Marshal-san. Mike opened the door, and his old suit for church, that he hadn't worn in years, was now a tailored suit in a smooth black fabric. Susa was folding his handkerchief, and then Mike changed and dressed, finding a pair of leather shoes replacing his desert boots. Susa tucked the folded handkerchief into the breast pocket of his suit jacket, and it now looked like a chocolate brown silk pocket square. Now, Mike, you look civilized. Keep the hat. She'll love it, especially since you adorned it with her favor. Nice touch, that. Susa croaked. Mike fetched the peanut butter. He didn't need to be reminded, Susa declared and clapped again. It's a shame you're doomed, Mike. You're not a moron like so many humans. You didn't even scream when you saw me. Lots of swords and sorcery novels, Mike replied with a shrug. You know much about either? Susa asked. No, just some wrestling and jujitsu and hitting people with things in bar fights, Mike admitted. Good. We'll teach you sword, but our style is very unorthodox, so having nothing to unlearn is in your favor. As for sorcery, Sousa studied Mike silently. No, you'll not be a sorcerer. Too bad, but can't have everything we want. Why will I need to know how to sword fight? Give me a rifle and a sword won't be necessary. I'm a qualified sharpshooter with an M16, Mike protested. Yes, shooting unmoving human silhouettes. Very impressive, Sousa scoffed. And while you try to line up your sights, an enemy is suddenly no longer 200 meters away, but right in front of you. Oops, you didn't affix your bayonet, and his sword has removed your right hand, followed by your head. If they move that fast, me with a sword is just as dead, Mike protested. Excellent! No foolish hubris and machismo! You are correct. That is why we will make you fast. I thought I'm supposed to be a driver, Mike asked. Nobody's just one thing. Commo dog? Mike nodded. Drive me to the park to meet the princess. You'll do nicely. Mike shook his head in amazement. Was this what he had wanted? Sousa flew through his door, and he saw out the window a waiting black car. He wasn't a car guy, but this thing was beautiful. As Mike walked out to join him, he asked, Is that my car? No, it's Princess Kurama's car, but you're allowed to drive it, Sousa said, opening the sunroof with a clap of his hands and then hopping down through it. The sunroof closed automatically behind the Tengu. Mike put on his yellow sunglasses and his hat and didn't bother locking his door as he left. Sousa rolled down the window. Lock your door, Baka! He shouted. Mike hurried to lock his apartment. He ascended the stairs again and saw a vision of a cloud of honeybees swirling around him, buzzing, circling. He held out his hand, and one gently landed on his thumb. He was frightened. Relax, man. I'm not going to sting you, said a valley girl voice. I'm just scoping you out. You look and smell like a cool guy. See you around. The bee flew away, and the swarm was gone. Reality once more in place. He walked to the car and climbed inside. The keys were waiting in the ignition. Hey, Sousa, he asked. The partition was down. Yeah, Mike. Are honeybees on our side? Sometimes. Usually Clan Apis minds their own beeswax. Sousa laughed. Are they our enemies today? No, Mike. Relax. I wouldn't leave you unprotected. Don't be fooled. I'm a master of Tenjutsu, and I can fight off stuff that would kill you like a small dog. Mike nodded and carefully drove to the park, setting his hat down on the passenger seat as he drove. A chill breeze blew through the open window, and it made him blink. Yes, I know, Sousa said. Yes, he's dressed decently. He'll do fine. That wind blew from behind the partition now, and he could have sworn he felt a kiss from moist lips on his left ear. Sousa chuckled. Whisper likes you. You are so doomed. Do Tengu commonly foretell doom? Mike asked. No, we commonly throw intruders off of our mountains. Literally, from the peaks, Sousa replied. Mike didn't think that was a joke. He found a parking spot, donned his hat, and picked up the peanut butter. I give up. Who's Whisper? Mike asked. She's a butterfly yokai. Never yell at her. Ever. Bad things happen when men yell at Whisper, Sousa explained. Bad how? Get seasonal allergies? No, you will, and nothing will relieve them. Doctors will be dismayed. You'll have to apologize in the quietest voice you can muster, and sing a cheesy love song from the 1980s. That's pretty bad, but not so bad, Mike said. You'll need to look into her butterfly face as you sing. Ever see one up close? Not pretty. Ask her to show you human face very nicely when she chooses to speak to you. Otherwise, it'll be bug face, all up close and personal. And you'd better not yell, Sousa warned. And he made a motion with his hand as if to imitate a proboscis. They left the car and walked to a fountain. It showed a mermaid and sea turtles sitting side by side, with water spraying out of a conch shell in the mermaid's hand. The wind blew cold on him again, but his hat did not budge. If that's you, Whisper, will you speak to me with your human face? He whispered. Sousa said, If you say so. Watch out, he's an ignorant barbarian. And he heard a giggle then. He saw a girl with delicate elfin features and blue wings, much like an emperor butterfly's, appear. She was wearing a dress made of gigantic flower petals. Hibiscus, maybe. Mike bowed. Mike Marshall, milady. She opened up a paper fan that had been painted gold to cover her giggle. This one is called Whisper, as you guessed, Marshall-san. Her eyes were compound and glittered like faceted amethysts. She didn't blink, didn't have eyelids. I'm Princess Kurama's driver, Mike said. Oh, Marshall-san, this one knows all your secrets. Whisper is a spy. He was outraged, but he remembered. My secrets are mine to keep, Mike replied softly. Indeed they are, and so delicious. I am so amused that you masturbate to fat women, but Princess Kurama is rail thin. Whisper laughed behind her fan again. Oh, don't be angry at Whisper. She's just a silly girl, Whisper pleaded behind the fan. Whisper, please keep my secrets, Mike requested. She lowered her fan a moment and then raised it again. I will do as you ask, Mike. I'll only tell the princess if she asks. But she will, because secrets are a crow's second favorite thing, after shiny things. They drink secrets from the eyes of the dead. I talk to friendly bugs and animals, and they tell me things, Whisper said. Hey, would you like me to become fat? I can do it, she suddenly asked without the fan covering her mouth. Not right now. Maybe another time, Whisper. I have to bring something for Kurama, Mike said. Okay. Remember, I can change shape to please you, Whisper said, and then she flew away. They walked on. Whisper really likes you, Sousa said admiringly. She didn't flash one glimpse of butterfly face. You're either very lucky or very unfortunate, Sousa said. I thought I was doomed. Oh, you are all right. She'll want to sex you in weird, gross ways, Sousa replied. And Kurama? Yeah, dream on, human. The Princess of Crows sexing you? Yeah, me, Mike replied. Sousa paused. Okay, that makes sense. She'll want to make sure you've been trained before you get to be sexed by her, though. Kurama walked to meet them. She was wearing a business skirt that was very short, despite the conservative look of the rest of her business clothes. Good, you remembered my peanut butter. Best thing you Americans invented yet, she said by way of greeting. Hello, Princess. Nice to meet you. I'm doing well, Mike said. Good. Rude right off the bat, Kurama replied. You're happy I was rude? Mike asked. Crows, remember? I like rude. Flash me your bling tags, she ordered. We haven't bargained our terms. I'm not officially your servant until we agree and I pledge to you. She gave a grin. Welly well, who's a clever boy? Good one, she said with a smile. Serve me, and I pledge to see to it you are taught, empowered, and do not want for necessities. Heal my injuries as well, Mike countered. Obey every command I give. You may question, you may object, but you will obey. Orders may change after discussion. She then demanded and conceded. How long until my service ends? 1 year trial period. Agreed conditionally. I can resign any time, forfeiting all boons except my health and repaired body. Agreed, she said, holding out her hands. I swear to uphold my agreement, upon my good name, that I will serve you 1 year trial period, obeying every command, free to question and object. I accept your promised boons of healing, empowerment, and teaching. I can end the service at any time, forfeiting all boons but my improved health and healing, he said, and took her hands like before, and leaned in for a kiss, which she gave on tiptoes as before. He gripped her and returned her kiss fiercely. That's what I like, she gasped, smiling, her yellow eyes twinkling. Whisper, come and kiss my Mike and tell me what you think. Whisper reappeared in a whoosh and a giggle from behind her fan. Yes, Princess. Kiss me, Mike. Mike held her tight and kissed Whisper just as fiercely. She dropped her gold fan and floated in his embrace. That is enough, Kurama ordered before they were done. Whisper demurely looked away, and her fan blew back into her hand. He is an adequate kisser, she whispered from behind her fan to Kurama. He's my barbarian. Don't forget it, Kurama whispered back. They know I can hear them, right, Susa? Mike muttered. Of course, the Tengu snapped. That was for your benefit, too. Just because you're Kurama's vassal doesn't mean you get to dally with her spy. You must have permission to sex anybody. Anybody? Your body belongs to her. Did you not realize what went with the healing? So, I can't have any without her permission? Not even one peepee touch. Kurama nodded at that and smiled wickedly. Crows, human. Not lovebirds, not tulips, not pigs nor cats. Princess of crows. Learn where you are, quickly. You're doomed, Susa croaked. Kurama held out her hand. Do you still love me, Mike? I have concerns, he replied, taking her hand. Good. Always be honest with me. Never tell me sweet lies, or even be diplomatic. I want your honest opinions. As you wish. I read a book once where that meant I love you, she replied, smiling archly. I'm afraid you will cause me to suffer for my love of you, he replied. Oh, very good. I might not, you know. And Mike shivered, and then remembered to pull out his dog tags. Kurama batted them around for a bit. Bling, cheek, bling, clink, she sang, and then she stopped abruptly. Put them away now. It is time to drive. She became all business, and Mike just barely remembered to open the car door for her. Sousa croaked and flew up to peck his forehead. Ow! Mike complained, clapping a hand to the hurting spot. You are now intimately familiar with this car and these roads. You're welcome, Sousa cawed. Mike nodded. Sure. He climbed into the driver's seat and discovered Sousa had told the truth. He knew where every control was and how to operate the car. I can get used to this, he said. You'll have to, Sousa replied, flapping past him to sit in the front passenger seat. Next time let me in first, you tall galoot. Mike started the car and turned on the radio. He changed it until he found an 80s station. Sousa pushed a button. Learn to love enka music. And then a man began to sing slowly in Japanese. Mike's skin crawled. This is old guy music, Mike complained. Sousa studied him silently and then cawed. You were bobbing your head to Stacy fucking Q, Pops. You ain't young. He drove, grumbling. At least my music isn't sung by old guys. Where are we going? Your brain knows whence to go. Don't think, just drive. The car phone rang. Mike answered. Kamo, need an airstrike or some arty? That was pure gibberish. At least learn to speak English. Yes, Kurama. Mike, I want you to know that I do still like you. We're friends. Be at ease. I have quirky roommates. They love humans, though, so you'll be comfy. You're speaking as if I will be living there. Oh, Mike, don't tell me you prefer to live alone in your hovel. You're my body servant. You get to live in my very nice home. Sized apartment. Body servant? I thought driver and protector. Yes, and certain other duties like fetching things, dancing, but you like dancing and looking like a Western barbarian at parties. You know, body servant. What was that after fetching? Dancing? No, there was another. You mumbled. Damn your radio operator ears. Okay, I did disguise a duty, but you'll like it too. You get to help bathe me and my peers. Sexy ladies, naked and soapy. Fun! I didn't sign up for that. I get hazard pay for bath duty. Agreed. And what do you think of when I say hazard pay? Radioactive gold? No! Human! Radiation bad! Gold good. I just meant extra wages for extra duty due to the hazards to my health presented by the duty. Oh, still want gold? Only if it's real gold that I can exchange for legitimate currency, not trick fairy gold that turns into leaves or some shit. I would never give you some shit disguised as gold. I'm not a tanuki. Gold for baths. Agreed. Is that binding? Our agreement accounts for amendments presented informally. Agreed. Sousa croaked a laugh. Gold for bathing Kurama and her peers. You're so doomed. Are you going to tell me? No, it's funnier this way. You won't spend any of it. You'll... But then Sousa's voice failed. Relax, Kurama said from the car phone. Sousa's a dickhead. Trust me. I don't want you to die. Ghouls are nowhere near as useful as live humans. Remember, I'm your friend. Sousa's a twisted goblin. The car nearly drove itself. Up ahead, he saw a high-rise. We're home, aren't we? He asked. Sousa was still silenced, but his beak moved. Yes, Mike, your things will be delivered shortly. She hung up. Her parking space was marked by the silhouette of a crow in flight. He opened the door and left it open for Sousa, pocketing the car keys. He opened the door for Kurama and helped her to stand. She kissed his hand as she stood, and he was suddenly aroused and very confused by that. Mike, she said sweetly, are you aroused? I think you know, princess. Testing my magic is all. You'll be fine, because my magic works on you perfectly, she said, and then she groped him. You're healed now, by the way. Escort me to the apartment and then ready a bath. I smell like air pollution. He took her arm and let her lead him to the elevator and to the apartment. Her apartment took up half of the floor. Who lives there? Mike asked, nodding at the other door. Uncle Leshy. I won't pretend to know. Kurama sighed slightly. Know about Pan? Sort of. Goat-legged god? Yeah, mix him with Sasquatch and make him Russian with a short fuse and you'll have an idea. Is he a god? No, he's in between, like me. Kind of a kami, kind of a yokai. Immortal, strong, and magical. Be very, very polite and don't ask him too many questions. Mike unlocked the door and opened it for her. Sousa followed them in, as did a warm breeze. I whisper, Mike whispered. Shall I tease him? A voice whispered, and then giggled. He entered and closed the door. Sousa said something in crow language and then pecked Mike's forehead again, this time drawing blood. You now know the building's layout and how all the appliances work. You're welcome. Oh, and sop up that blood. Some of the ladies have a weakness for human blood. It hurts them. It tastes delicious. Mike quickly grabbed a paper towel and dabbed at his forehead. A naked blonde woman rushed in. Is a mortal hurt? I smelled. Oh, hello, she said in a hungry voice that made Mike tingle. Lilia, this is Mike, the new body servant, Kurama said. Mike, this is Lilia. She loves humans. Mike tried to ignore her nudity and waved hello with the paper towel. Oh, let me take that, Lilia said, snatching the paper towel and then eating the red spotted paper. Typo positive, English and Irish, heterosexual, she said with relish. You can tell that? Lillian nodded and then looked down at herself. I don't like clothes. Will my nudity disturb you? Mike shook his head. I'll adjust. We won't have any problems. Lilia laughed. Oh, you thought I was worried about you? Attacking me? She shook with mirth. Go ahead and cop a feel, human. First touch is free. Sousa shook his head and waved his arms in warning. Free meaning no consequence? He asked. Touch me anywhere you want, and I promise not to harm you directly or indirectly. No, it feels wrong. Lilia smiled gently. You're a lamb, Mike. I want you to learn, not hurt you. She inhaled. Touch me. I invite you to touch me freely. Sousa was frantically shaking his head. No, no, no. Mike cupped one of her breasts. It was painfully cold. I'm a rusalka, a spirit of the winter waters. The most crazed rapist can't handle me. We'll get along fine. Mike held his hand against his neck. Lilia walked away. I tried to warn you, Sousa said. Oh, fuck off, Goblin. You could have said she has ice cubes for nipples, Sousa croaked. Have to remember that one. Lily is a lesbian anyway. You don't want to try her. She swore off men 200 years ago. I don't want to try any of them. You will, man. You won't be able to help it. It's going to suck. Mike sighed and walked toward the bathroom. The tub was a small swimming pool. He turned on the hot water at full and sat down. He figured it would cool as it filled, and a princess would want a hot, steamy bath anyway. Steam? No steam. He touched the water tentatively. Cold. He turned it off and checked the other faucet. Also cold. What the actual hell? Kurama, we need to call the maintenance man. She walked in wearing a black kimono-type robe as he shouted, What's wrong? The water, princess. No hot. Oh, that. Yes, there never is. Lilia, you see, she's a rusalka. Mike nodded and turned the cold water to full. You do understand that water this cold is bad for humans? He asked. Kurama nodded. Our solution is? He led. She looked at him blankly. The way that we have warmth for the human who needs it to live? A fireplace, she said brightly. I won't bathe in water this cold. I can't bathe you in water this cold. I will get sick and die, he explained slowly. No, you won't. Magical health. You just won't have that luxury of hot water bathing unless Lilia leaves the house. Don't you drink tea? Cold tea. I'm a mountain yokai, Mike, as in mountain top, where it's cold. You'll adjust or quit. Mike frowned. But I like hot showers. She turned off the water and removed her robe. Her nipples looked like the flesh of white peaches. Kurama smiled at him. Take it all in. She spread her arms and slowly turned. She was gaunt, pale, and he could see almost every bone. Why are your nipples yellow? They're not yellow. They're peachy and very attractive. I have wonderful nipples. And my breasts are perfect, too. Smooth and flat, no burden. She paused then. Oh, but Whisper told me you like fat women. Yeah. How will you be able to love me properly? I always look like this. Kurama, he said, you want to quit already? Haven't I been sweet? Westerners like kisses. Didn't I kiss you? You like cars. I have a nice one. You like food. The food will be hot. Aren't I sweet? Aren't I pretty enough? Mike held up his hands. I promised once to never make a naked woman cry. No, you didn't, she laughed. You made that up just now. I promised myself just now. Tell me what to do, he said with a weak smile. You'll feel differently when you touch me. You love touching me. It won't matter that I have the body that I have, because it's Kurama, your beloved. She stepped down into the bathtub and she didn't shiver. First you soap my body, then you wait and allow the fragrance to hold, then you rinse and you scrub with that cloth. You'll like that part. Then you rinse my hair, rub in the shampoo, that one with the black lid. Wait until I tell you. Then rinse. Then rub in the conditioner with the gold lid. and help me to shampoo my pubis. You'll like that part. Then rub me dry with that towel. You'll like that part. Why will I like those parts specifically? Because you'll get to touch my secret places, and I might like you to touch them and touch yours. Kurama, how likely is this? She blinked slowly and licked her lips. Touch me sweetly, and we will find out together. But then she was all business. Disrobe to keep your clothing dry and to get closer so you don't have to reach so far. He began to understand. You mean to test other things. Must it be a test? Mike, I'm lonely too. I just can't fall in love like a normal person. I need to have these cause and effect things. Dancing, groping in the bath, singing, spicy food, bad poetry. He touched her shoulder. I said disrobe. Mike obeyed her. Hmm, grower, not a shower, eh? She joked. He shrugged. It's a penis. It's not impressive or awe-inspiring, but it's mine. You'll like it when you touch it. You know how this game works. Your body is fine the way it is. Sexy. That's right. She stood up from the water. Soap me, Mike. Soap my body like love itself. He laughed. I told you, she said, and lifted a leg so that he could soap it as well. You may admire my womanhood and long for its warmth, she said with her eyes half closed. He rubbed the soap onto her skin. I like it when you talk dirty while I clean you. Do you? He spent a long time circling the soap around her chest. You like them, my nipples. You want to find out how sensitive they are and if they taste sweet. She sighed. And you want me to sit astride you and buck my hips just like this. She demonstrated as he soaped her thighs, and he did find himself getting very aroused. So how much of our relationship will be you worshipping me, and how much will be me rewarding you for good service, you were wondering? She asked. Yes, not everything is give and take. She levitated and lifted her other leg for soaping. Not always a cause and effect, but loving, I'm afraid, is. I can't change what I am. Adore me to be loved in return. He soaped her feet and then her backside. He nodded as she talked to him and encouraged things. That a boy, she said, and flexed her muscles. See? And then she straightened up. It's time to rinse me. He gently pulled her down into the water. Oh, I meant with the bucket, but I like how you think. She sank slowly, making him pull her leg and then push on her shoulder. And she was staring at his penis. The washcloth, Mike. The washcloth next, she whispered. As he gently scrubbed her body with the washcloth, he found that he did enjoy that part, as she had said. And it had been so long since he'd touched a woman. And she touched him in return. She was in reach while he moved her to scrub, and the bathing turned into sex play. He did so many things that she found to be pleasurable, and she responded in kind. By the time the tub water was draining, she was kissing him there in midair and levitating him into a sexual embrace. Trust me, Mike, I am mistress of gravity and your body. Give it. So imagine making love in midair above an empty porcelain bathtub, And now imagine you're making love to a possibly crazy Tengu princess. It was sex terrifying. At the end, Kurama shouted out in pleasure and declared it has been too long, Mike. Promise to do that every day and I'll make you my prince. Are you serious? Well, consort, but it's just as good and you don't have to be a Tengu. Are you serious? Well, no, that was just pillow talk, baby. I need you to stay my driver still. Fucking knew it. Set me down, please. You still love me, right? And you'll still fuck me a lot? She asked. Great. An emotionally needy nympho semi-goddess. Who needs a boyfriend who is also a servant? Or the other way around. But she did lower him back to the ground. See, Mike? Gently. I didn't leave you floating in the air, or drop you on your head, or steal your sight, or curse you, or put a glamour on you. You still love me? She asked, floating. He saw his semen dripping out of her like disgusting rain. I still love you, Kurama, he said. But you're disappointed. Would more sex help? I can give you some more sex for the next 9 minutes, and we could even do it on the ground. Mike found himself wanting to cry. She really didn't get it. Kurama, you offered to marry a lonely man with nobody in the world, and then said it was just pillow talk. It broke my heart. She stepped down to the floor like descending a stepladder. Hey, did you like that? Was it cute? Mike nodded, but he put his face in his hands. Will it be like that? Raise my hopes, then crush them? I didn't mean to hurt you, Mike. I thought that a sweet dream of being my prince would make you happy. And then you are still my servant, but you get to stay human. So, a nice ending, because we're still together. Mike Jackson and Kurama for 100 years. And she gave him a hug. 100 years, Mike. Kurama and Mike, 100 years. Adventures and romance and magic. Mike, in the name of whatever God you serve, do not ask me if I still love you. She cried then. But, but you said... Yes, I told you I still love you. Not 8 minutes ago. Please serve me for 100 years. I'll be good to you, teach you about magic and sex in ways you can only dream about, and I'll dance for you, not as give and take, dance for you just because we like it when I dance for you. Sexy dance moves, hey? Naked flying dances, sneak up and kiss you dances. Kurama, dancing just for you, Mike. I can't just turn off my sadness, princess. I need to stop hurting. Would more sex help? I can sex you for 5 more minutes. I can sing while we do it, or do a voice. Want me to be Lucy Ricardo? She then mimicked the voice of Lucille Ball, and he was embarrassed, but he did think that was kind of hot. Yeah, save Lucy for next time, maybe. I just, I can't get it up right now. She hugged him again. Can't you say it? Can't you say it? Do you love me? He asked. Mike, He waited. You can't, can you? She shook her head. Every single thing except, say, love from me to you. I want you to be with me for 100 years. I got that. Right. And I want to touch you and kiss you and dance with you and take you flying and do all those things that a woman does with a man that she loves, I added. She nodded. So every time you ask me if I love you, you're trying to say, she nodded and then touched her long nose. When you say you want me to serve you, it's because you want to reward me for that service with your love. She gave him a kiss. 100 years, Mike, she whispered. Time's up. It's time for Lilia's bath, she said, and then stood up. She briskly pulled on her robe and began to use a blow dryer on her hair with the conditioner still in. Mike hurried to wipe his spooge off of the tiles with some toilet paper. Kurama, this has challenges, he said. But I do love you, and I want to serve you. She kissed him again, right as Lilia entered. Hey, did you tell him? Lilia asked. Sorry, you'll need to. Lilia cursed, he thought, in Slavic. All right, Mike. She put her hands on her hips. We need to work out a system. You aren't my servant, but serving me is part of your contract, right? He nodded. And I've got to do something to repay you for bathing me and tucking me in at night, and no, that's not a sexual innuendo. I'm a terrible cook, but I can maybe help you get a mortal girlfriend, but it'll take a bit of service to balance out with that. I can help you get a whore for much less because I do run an escort company. I can make you able to walk on water and ice for short periods of time. Oh, I can also make clothes for you. I'm very good at that. Or, she sighed deeply at this, or I can give you sexual favors, but I hate that. I will not demand you to do what you hate. Hey, can you leave long enough for me to have hot baths? He asked. But that means clothes, or visiting Uncle Leshy. I hate those. Don't you wear clothes when you go to work? Ike asked. I hate clothes, though. I hate cold showers. She sighed. Seems like a compromise to me. Agreed. I will leave the apartment so that you can have hot water. Why is it that you can't bathe yourself? He asked. I have to be bathed by the servant. Otherwise, it is not a bath and I'm just in the water. I didn't make up the rules. It's the only way I can get clean. Please start the water, Lilia said. Yes, my lady, Mike replied, and he turned on the water. Mike helped Kurama finish blow drying and warmed himself up with that hot air. Who are your other roommates? He asked. There's Fushin and Hilda. Fushin is a kami of the stormy skies, and Hilda, she's a nightmare. Not a horse. No, she's a walking skeleton who appears in nightmares. I think we've met, he said. Oh, probably. Mike turned off the water and picked up the soap. Don't get funny ideas, Lilia warned. Mike sighed. We can be friends, you know. You don't need to be hostile just because I'm hetero. I respect your sexual orientation, and even if you were hetero too, I'd respect your lack of an interest in having sexual relations with me. I'm not a pig. Mike, it's not your fault. Rusalki are alluring to men. She's trying to help you, Kurama said, and turned off the blow dryer. You will understand once I'm in my element, Lilia explained. Do I have to bathe Hilda too? He asked. Kurama giggled and left them alone. You don't have to bathe Hilda. You get to bathe her, Lilia replied. Now remember, Mike, Lilia is a lesbian. Lilia is an ice queen. Lilia does not want sex from you. And then she stepped into the water. Lilia is a lesbian. Lilia. Oh, God, Mike said. As soon as she entered the water, her hair turned green and began to float as if carried by eddies of water. Her breasts did too. They looked bigger too. In fact, every part of Lilia had filled out and was nice and plump. Lilia is a lesbian, he called out in a louder voice and closed his eyes. Lilia does not want sex from you. Lilia is a lesbian. Lilia is an ice queen. He chanted the mantra as he bathed her. Closing his eyes did not solve that problem. Lilia was still quite plump, and in the water she was not cold to the touch at all. Closing his eyes only made it more arousing. Oh, God, he couldn't do it. He retreated and hugged himself. Hey, you did good, Mike. The water makes me turn into what you desire. I used to lure men to their deaths. Your will is strong and your heart is pure, Lilia said, soothing him. No, it's not pure, he hissed. I was about to, but you did not. You were confronted with almost ultimate sexual temptation, and you said no. Lilia gently told him, You're only human, Mike. Now, my friend, will you help me? She picked the soap up, and trembling, Mike took it from her hand. Please don't kill me if I'm weak, he asked. Shh. Lilia is your friend. Lilia is a lesbian. They chanted together what had become his new mantra, and he was even able to shampoo her pubic hair without inappropriate touching. Lilia is my friend, they said together as he poured the rinsing bucket over her. Lilia does not want sex from me, they said together as he rubbed the towel across her now smaller but still very appealing bosom. Lilia is an ice queen as he dried between her legs. Lilia is my friend. When she was all dry and back to her former shape. You're a good man, Mike. One day we'll test you, eh? Please, please don't test me. I don't want to die, he whispered. If I'm testing you, I can't kill you, she said. Nice fucking try. I won't fall for that, he retorted. Oh, but you will. You're not made of stone. So don't test me. I'm not strong enough. I preemptively fail myself, okay? I won't succeed or pass that test. Shh. Hysterics do not become strong men like you, she said. When would you like to take your hot shower? After I've bathed the others, please. Want me to come visit you in the water? Please don't. She laughed at this. Oh, I like you, Mike. We'll be good friends, I can tell. And she laughed some more as she left. Mike sat on the floor hugging his knees. And then he blowed himself with the blow dryer, but the hot air could not banish those shivers. She was so very deadly, and she thought that tempting him was fun. He'd have to give her a talk called Mike Has the Right to Live, what this means to Rusalki. And then there was a polite knock on the bathroom door. Come in, he said. Hilda entered, wearing a fluffy pink bathrobe. Hello. I like to trade service for sexual favors, she said without anything. Her mouth did not move, though. Are you making fun of me? He asked. No, she protested. Why would I make fun of you? You help us. And you lack functional sexual apparatus. She laughed behind a bony hand dulcetly. Dreams, Mike. I can be anything and do anything in your dreams. Perfect clarity, total recall, guaranteed. I'm also a great cook. Good food is tempting, he admitted. What about my other offer? He pondered this. Can you? The answer is yes. I meant anything. She put her hands on her hips. All right. Buxom pirate with purple hair. Curly. Down to here. How, buxom? Get greedy. She leaned forward eagerly. To here? He gestured. I can make them impossible. It's a dream. Sure you only want them that big? How about Aretha sized? Yeah, Aretha. Attaboy. Now, is she an enemy pirate or an ally pirate? Enemy pirate takes me captive. Fuck for your freedom? Better than that. Oh, she falls in love and gives you all her booty? Yeah. She grinned. Well, you know. What shade of purple? Surprise me. How curly? Impossible. Pubes? I want a jungle down there. Deal. Deal. The skeleton turned her back and slowly lowered her robe, looking at him over her shoulder in a flirty way. Mike could see her bones, really, and he felt her desire to be alluring too, and it worked. He didn't imagine that pirate, he just saw Hilda as she saw herself, just as alluring as anyone. Oh, I made you blush, she said, dropping her robe to the floor and prancing over to him. Oh, I wish I could kiss you, and Mike hugged her. That broke the spell. A skeleton is a skeleton. Bone is bone. And she sighed. For a second, you hugged me like a real woman. He let go. I know. I'm sorry. Don't be. You're a dear man, Mike. If it doesn't work out with Kurama, call me. She hovered her teeth near his lips. Mwah, she said, making a kissing sound. And then she picked up a scrub brush. That canister over there is my soap, she said. He started to fill the water. She climbed right in and stretched out, letting the water fill in the tub and flow over her bones. To answer what most men ask, I'm not a dead person. I was made out of dreams. I was never mortal. Who made you? Some dead god. People still believe in me, so I outlived him. They don't believe in you, he said. Nightmares, Mike? Hello? They can try to replace us with night terrors all they want, but we're still here. As long as there are humans, they will fear the night and what lives in the dark. And, she rubbed her ribs, clicking and clacking, reminders of death, like me. She let out a giggle. It wasn't sexy when I did that, was it? Mike shook his head no. Hilda sat up, water flowing between her bones. Mike, you're special. Will you do me a favor before scrubbing? What? Will you kiss me on the forehead like you love me? So you can know what it's like? Yeah. I was made as a woman even though I'm a nightmare. I want love too. It just isn't fair. They tell us life is fair in hundreds of ways. Karma, heaven and hell. But it just isn't, Mike replied. He knelt down beside the tub and he kissed her skull. You didn't even imagine I was someone else. You kissed me. Oh, what I would give for a vagina. I'd, well, you know, you'll find out tonight, won't you, dream boy? She giggled again. Mike stopped the water, and he put the powder onto the brush and got to work. She giggled and squirmed. Does it tickle? Pretend it does. So he played the game with her, pretending to tickle her with the brush, and she giggled and squirmed and looked at him with her empty sockets. But he swore he could see affection. If I ever become a real woman, she said with longing, how would I recognize you all covered in meat? She laughed. An erection! You have a boner for Hilda. Bone Hilda. And it was true. I'll do something special so you know me. I'll. And then she took hold of him and lightly scraped her teeth from the base of his penis to the tip, and she hummed as if he were a mouthful. That's my signature, Mike. You'll always know it's me if I do that. I will. She clapped, her bones clicking. I totally gave you a bone job. You're my boyfriend now. She began to stroke his penis, but the rough texture of her bones ruined it, and he went flaccid. Aw. Next time I'll put on latex gloves and get some lube. Hey, easy. Take it easy. I can't have any sex if Kurama doesn't say so. I don't count, she laughed. She said not even one pee-pee touch. Dry me and we'll settle this, Hilda declared, standing up, the water cascading from her bones. So cool. Next time shower? Mike asked. Yes, dry me. Mike rubbed her with the towel. She giggled again, so he tickled her some more. Oh, Mike, you're so naughty. You're naughty, Hildy. Ooh, a pet name. Call me Hildy like crazy. Oh, right there. Rub that fluffy towel like that, she gasped. How does that feel, baby? He asked. Don't stop. He pretended some more, and she slumped over and moaned, even gasping as she leaned over him. You're the best, Mike. Oh, you say that to all the boys. Can you say the words, I love you, Mike? He asked. I love you, Mike. I'm your boyfriend. See you tonight, beautiful. You know it, matey. Arr! Fuck the captain and swabber decks. He chuckled at her. Hildy put on her robe. To be continued, you sexy beast, you, Hildy said. Rama! We gotta talk! Hildy snapped as she stalked away. Mike wiped water off of the floor, and then he realized what had just happened. I just agreed to date a walking skeleton, a literal monster from nightmares. My life got real weird real fast. The door burst open. He turned and saw what had to be Fushin. Tall, muscular, green-skinned, impressive claws on her toes, one spiral horn with a very broad base to reach only 4 or 5 inches long. Her hair was wild and black. She wore a tiger-striped bathrobe, and she stood there silently, regarding him as he regarded her. He tilted his head to the right. She mirrored him, tilting to the left. He lifted his hand. She mirrored. He cupped her breast. She slapped him. I win, he said, rubbing his cheek. She paused and then chuckled. Yes, you won. So, bathing? Yeah. Cooking? Greater men than you have died. Fetching things? Sure, but... Suggestion? She smiled and parted her robe a little. I can do it even when not paying you back, she said, licking her big pointy teeth. Do you eat people? Never you. Wait, how can you not be limited by the give and take rule? I'm a kami. Kurama is a yokai. Willie is basically a yokai, and so's Bonehilda. And me, I'm a goddess. Small goddess. But I do what I want, Fushin said. Honestly, you kinda scare me. I don't think I want my dick near those fangs. What else can we do? I can make you waterproof. How long? Turn it on at will, she replied. But you can wait to decide. See what I have to offer. She removed her bathrobe slowly, slipping it to the floor. Her nipples were olive green, and her muscles, well, they would put some bodybuilders to shame. She traced her body with her hands, gave a turn, and extended a leg out to show those muscles. Impressive, no? Very impressive. Wait till you feel me. Then you will know what you want. Fill up the tub. Mike started the water. I'm still frightened, he admitted. I told you, I'll never eat you. I won't hurt you. I want you to like me. I don't have a lot of friends. Fushin gave her own admission. Because you look like a demon? In so many words, yes. But also the thunder, lightning, and rain thing. But we need storms. The earth needs storms. I'm the nice storm kami. You don't want to meet Raijin. Anyway, Thushin continued, Hilda did her dream girl spiel, right? Cute voice tickles your pickle, right? Mike nodded. All right. She's not girlfriend material. Mike frowned. She turned off the water and held out her hands to forestall his objections. She's a sweetie, I know. Aside from the obvious bone thing, no lips, no tits, no vagina, she's not a person. Never was. Probably never will be. She dipped her toes into the water and then looked back at him in a flirty way. Looking at my butt? His glance, his glance shifted down. You are now. She gave a throaty chuckle. Never gets old. She slipped the rest of the way into the water. So what does that mean for you, right? He nodded. Boney doesn't eat, sleep, none of that living stuff. She can't taste or smell anything. Colors are washed out and faded, so she's got pink everything. She sold you on an idea. She can't give you what you really need. She has thoughts and feelings, but she lacks fundamental experiences and therefore fundamental values. Are you listening and thinking, or are you staring at my hot bod? She winked. Gotcha again. I'm the queen of made you look. She ducked her head in the water. And when she surfaced, she said, Need you to help brush my hair every night, too. Like Lilia needs to be tucked in. He nodded. It brings us to Kurama. She's special, but her heart is not like yours. Fundamental differences, right? He nodded. On top of that, her interactions are limited and her capacities are stunted in many regards. Fushin pointed to some soap. Mike began to soap her skin. Oh, your touch feels so right, she said, and gave a shudder and caught her breath. She peeked at him from half-closed eyes. I got you again, didn't I? I call that one the boner-matic. She reached out to tickle his belly. I'm a tickler, free warning. Don't be scared of my tits. They need to get clean, too. She closed her eyes once more and arched her back, her breath hissing. Really, though, that is so good. I love getting clean, and I do mean that. She smiled. Mike, do you like my tits? Because they like you. See? Like those old car antennas, right? I really like touching and being touched, you see? Doesn't even have to be sexual, but I am a kami of powerful appetites, she said. Where was I? She asked, standing and lifting a leg. Right, Kurama, thank you. The one-sided conversation continued. Princess Kurama is really good at pissing people off, not considering their feelings, and alienating others. She will steal, order you to debase and degrade yourself. I can't remember which is worse, but neither's good. Deprive you of sleep, manipulate you into doing what she wants, boss you around, and withhold the pussy to punish you, she said, and then lifted her other leg. She already do that zero gravity look into my pussy trick? He nodded. I can do that too. And she made her labia blow him a kiss. That's cool, he said. Welcome back to the conversation, sexy. She stood. Oh, and punishments. She'll beat you. Your body is hers. No, he began. Yeah, she'll beat you with a bamboo pole cut specifically for beating human servants. And then she'll be all tears and regrets and super wet pussy. She gets off on the beatings and forgiveness and the reconciliations. What I'm saying is, life in this house ain't easy. What about you? Mike asked. Me? I'm easy. I'm a glutton. I'm a slut. I'm an attention whore. I love giving blowjobs. I stink up the bathroom. I give bad BO. My nipples are super sensitive. I chew on bones. I think videos of people falling down are hilarious. I like boy bands and heavy metal. And I tell you all my flaws up front instead of gradually letting you find out and get rude awakenings. How about lies? Lies require subtlety and patience, and I got neither. He began to rinse and scrub. Like stealing boyfriends, do you? He asked. She giggled as he scrubbed her breasts. Well, yes, but I don't make a habit of it. It's not what I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm warning you instead of just saying, You're doomed. Mike nodded. Oh, that feels good, but before I forget, really good. My drum. You'll want to play with my drum. She stretched and sighed. I can avoid playing with other people's property, he scoffed. Mike, are you talking to a goddess? Yes. You will want to play with my drum. Do not do that. She enunciated each word of warning. Very bad things will happen. Example, would every window on this floor and your eardrums bursting simultaneously be a bad thing? He nodded. Worse than that. He nodded. No drum, he agreed. You can bang me all you want, though, she said, grinning. Was that a drum pun? Because that was really bad. He began massaging the shampoo, purple lid, into her hair. What, no porno groans? No staring at my dick? He asked. Hurts very much, she whispered. Don't stop. You're as gentle as can be. It's necessary pain. Mike felt a wave of sympathy and shame. Your hair hurts when I rub it? Brushing too? He asked. Just the tangles. After a while, the brushing feels very nice, and I'm back to my flirty self. She winced. My favorite is to have a mouthful of a man while my hair is brushed, and then it's happy endings all around. She opened her eyes. Got you again, she whispered. Want mouthful of you? Can't, he said. She gave you the no sex rule. Ooh, I'm mad as hell. She only does that when... Never you mind, Mike. Come on, Fushin. I mind very much, he said as he rinsed her hair. She's trying to be a good girlfriend, but she's bad at it, and she thinks controlling your dick is the same as devotion. It ain't. It's just being a dick tyrant. He began to brush her hair out gently. You have to hurt me, Mike, she said. He began to use more force. Her eyes blinked away tears. Yeah, like that, she whimpered. Don't stop. It needs to be done. Want your dick to tyrannize me, not be tyrannized by Kurama. You've lost me with the dick tyranny stuff, he admitted. She grunted. I want to have lots of sex with you. What's to get? Why me? Honestly, it's because you're convenient and I'm a slut. I won't apologize. I do like you, really, but I won't feed you a bunch of magic instant love shit like Kurama and Hildy have fed me. Oh, Hildy probably does love you in her shallow dream way. Love the name, by the way, but the problem is she is hollow. And Kurama thinks that romance works like that love just happens. I don't claim to know love. I don't. But I doubt she's right. Ow! And that was the worst of it. The brushing got rapidly easier and smoother, and her hair gleamed and was beautiful. Fushin was beautiful. Talons and fangs were gone. The horn remained, but he could get past that. She smiled at him. There. Now you get to see me at my best. She drained the water and floated out of the tub, laying down on thin air, her hair and breasts dangling. Mike backed away, holding the brush ahead of him. Oh, Mike, let me reward you, she pleaded. Not even one pee-pee touch, he said. We'll settle this, she shouted and yanked her robe on, still dripping wet. Trying, Mike called. Screw it, Fushin shouted. Mike sighed and wiped up the water. He wrapped a towel around his shoulders like a blanket and carried his clothes to his room, led by his new knowledge. His bath would have to wait, and why bother dressing if he was only going to bathe soon? He saw boxes marked Mike Marshall stacked near the bed. There were packaged things everywhere. Clothes to toiletries to snacks to chocolates. He dug into some chocolate truffles. He had expected to hear loud arguments, but the place was quiet. It was eerie. Was his room soundproof? Like a spell or something? Kurama walked into his room. Oh, found you, she said with a smile. I hope you like the chocolate. He nodded. Thank you, princess. My roommates and I, have had a meeting about you. Mike nodded. Do you want more freedom and agency? Yes. Also, I want you to promise to never lie to me and never beat me. Are lies of omission okay? I accept that things are around that I might not be meant to know, he agreed. She kissed him tenderly then, and that tenderness was new. I promise I will not tell you lies or beat you, she said. Also, you can sex whomever you want. I won't demand exclusivity, but I hope you'll remember that I'm your mistress and you're my vassal. He nodded. I do still love you, Kurama, he said. She touched her nose and then gave him a hug. Her forehead only reached his chest. I advise you not to fuck Whisper. Her sense of humor disturbs most mortal men, and she thinks that sex play is the perfect time for pranks. Like showing me butterfly face in the middle of passion? Bingo. Figures. So is there going to be a problem with me living here? He asked. No, 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 she waved her hands. No problems, Mike. Absence of problems. Even Lilia likes you, and she trusts you for future baths and to tuck her in tonight. He waited for it. One small complication, though? She cocked her head to the side. Hilda has this crazy idea that you're her boyfriend. Mike nodded. Well, that doesn't work. You're my vassal, yeah? That means I thought we understood you, me, right? She replied. Why can't I be both? He asked. It's like an emotional affair. It's like you're cheating on me with my friend. It's like a betrayal. He held up a hand. Stop right there. I never said I wouldn't date anyone, and it's not a betrayal, not even close. I'm loyal to my mistress, and I honor my bargains. Hildy and me, you and me, those are different. Besides, she doesn't have working parts or plumbing. Our relationship is limited at the basic level. But she can tell me she loves me. Kurama nodded and then shook her head. She doesn't, though, Mike. She's incapable of love, just the semblance of it, like a dream. Mike took her hand. I understand that. I get my real love right here, and I get the words and the gestures there. Is that okay? Kurama thought about this. Do you love me? She asked. But he knew that it was her way to say I love you. And he replied, I love you too, Kurama. Nobody's perfect, and we have things to smooth out, but I'm not going anywhere. Kurama and Mike for 100 years, she whispered. I can't promise that yet. KuramaandMike.com. He laughed at that and gave her a tickle. She playfully pushed him back onto his bed, and she fed him a chocolate. You will have a very interesting Valentine's Day. And White Day, she said, and snuggled next to him and removed her crown. I've been meaning to ask, where do your wings go? Kurama laughed softly. They disappear to the astral plane and go on adventures with Buckaroo Banzai. Who?